Kimber from Moksha Yoga and Wellness here, and I'm going to lead us through just about an hour long, kind of a slow flow type practice, really focusing on strengthening and opening the upper back and also the hips. So you won't need any props for this practice unless you normally like to practice with a bolster or a blanket or a block, but you won't absolutely need them if you don't have them. This class is suitable for all levels, and I'll be offering some variations as well. So when you're ready, we'll start in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Just making sure you can find a place where your sit bones are grounded down into the mat, where you can make your spine nice and tall, relax the shoulders away from the ears, lift through the crown of the head, just letting your spine take up as much space as it can. Option to you if you'd like to gently close the eyes. We'll start with 3 deep cleansing, relaxing breaths. So take a deep inhale, filling up the belly. Sigh it out of the mouth. We do that 2 more times. Inhale deeply. Sigh it out. Last time, take a deep inhale. Sigh it out. Take a moment just to come into your body, taking inventory of what you feel, maybe working, starting at the top of the head, down through the body, just checking in without judgment. Whatever you find, not wishing it were different. Just kind of taking stock of things so you can meet your body where you are today. Maybe finding the areas that feel tight, or maybe the areas that feel open and strong. Do you notice any sensations in any part of the body? And then to help center us and prepare us for practice, we'll do another quick breath exercise, equal part breathing. So exhale all of your air. Inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for 4. Inhale. 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Continue with this breath. Exhale. If you'd like, you can make the breath longer. If you naturally have a longer breath, maybe to a count of 5 or 6, or just stay at 4. Checking in with your thoughts, seeing if you can bring them back to the breath so you're just focused on your breathing. Keep up with that equal parts, whatever your count may be. Let's do 3 more rounds at your own pace. Last one. When you're finished, you can just let the breath return to normal. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, just observing the breathing. Seeing what your breath naturally wants to do. Noticing where you find it in the body. Do you find it in your belly, in your chest, in your nose? Maybe take a moment to express an intention for your practice today. And we'll start to link some gentle movement and some breath to get warmed up. So to start, we'll be in any cross-legged position with our legs in front of us. So like I am, one ankle on top, or one ankle in front, or the true cross-legged, whatever feels good for you. We're going to inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, bring the right arm down, lift your left arm up and over. Inhale, lift up, come back to center. Don't let your shoulders come up with you. Exhale, left arm down, right arm up and over. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, back over to the right. We'll just keep this dynamic motion for a few breaths, moving side to side, coming back through center on the inhales. Maybe when you're stretched over, thinking about sending your breath into those top ribs to create space. See if you can expand. And then the next time you're in center, we're going to switch a little bit. So instead of just coming up to center, we're going to fold out over the legs. We're going to add that in. So inhale, come back up to center. Exhale to one side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold. Now we'll just stay in these folds. Inhaling up to center. Exhale, fold. Not super deep, just warming up. Inhale up to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to center. Exhale, fold. This time hold here. Not at the highest expression of your stretch, not the stretchiest place you can go. Just a nice, maybe 4 out of 10. One more deep breath. On your inhale, slowly walk your hands up or just pull yourself back up to center. Switch the crossing of your legs. And then we'll go back to that dynamic folding. Inhale, stretch up tall, long spine. Exhale, gentle fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, and this time we'll hold. Take a few deep breaths here. Maybe sending your breath into your hips, creating opening. Maybe just being mindful if any judgmental thoughts come across your brain. Slow, deep, peaceful breathing. As you're ready, slowly start to come back up. Nice little warm up for our hips, and we'll find our way to a tabletop position. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, checking in with the alignment of our hands. So you want your pointer finger to be pointing towards the front of your mat. May require a little external rotation in your hands. Another way to think about it is making those wrist creases parallel to the front of the mat. We'll do a few cat-cows following your own breath. So as you inhale, let the movement originate in your pelvis and then travel up your spine so your head is the last thing to move. Exhale, tuck, press into the back, drop the head. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cat. Follow your own breath if it's different than my pace. anything into this that would feel good. Maybe looking over each shoulder. Maybe some cement mixers. Not sure if there's a better name for this. Just moving organically with whatever your body feels like it needs. There's no wrong answer as long as you're moving with your breath. You're not experiencing pain. We'll do a little bit of core activation here. So start by really pressing your hands into the mat, getting strong in the upper back. Reach your right arm long. If that feels okay for your balance, left leg coming back behind you, one long line of energy. As long as you can on the inhale, exhale, round it all together, pull everything towards the center line. Inhale, stretch long. So as you exhale, bring the belly button towards the spine, contracting the core, keeping the core tight to support you as you inhale back long. Exhale, curl. Inhale, long. Exhale, curl. 2 more. Inhale, long. Exhale, curl. Inhale, long. Last one. Exhale, curl. And then place down that knee and that hand. Readjust as you need to. Then to switch to the other side, lift the left arm out in front of you. If that feels okay, right leg comes back behind you. Stretch long on your inhale. Exhale, bring it all together. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, squeeze into a little ball. Inhale, long. Exhale, squeeze. Really feeling the belly button come to the spine. Asking all those core muscles to fire. Exhale, come back. 2 more. Inhale, long. Exhale, squeeze to the center. Inhale, long. Exhale, squeeze. Set down that right knee, that right hand. Sit back on your heels for a moment. Maybe give your wrists a little turn. And as you're ready, we'll come into a plank pose. If you need to bring the knees down, totally okay. Think about inflating the space between the shoulder blades. So we're not dropping into our shoulders, we're pressing them out of weight and engaging the upper back. Belly button comes to spine, heels reach back. Take a couple breaths. Now lower down, chaturanga if you'd like. Shifting forward a few inches, keeping the elbows close to the ribs to come down all the way to the belly. And then the often forgotten part of the core is the back. We'll also get into the upper back a little bit here as well. So we'll start by just lifting with our breath. So I suggest hands kind of in a sphinx or hands underneath the shoulders, whatever is more comfortable for you. As you inhale, gentle lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Keep following your breath here. Little lifts, making sure you're squeezing the glutes and the low back. Where attention goes, energy flows. So if we pay attention to those muscles we're asking to fire, we're sending them more energy and making their job easier. Having our body work together instead of our mind and body being separate. Let's go about 3 more here. Maybe you're around your last one. Bring it all back down to the mat. You can rest your chin on your hands or your forehead. Just take a breath. Maybe think about sending your breath all the way down to your low back, as if you could move your hand if it was placed there. Next, we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders and just peel the head, neck, and chest up off the mat a tiny amount, and then think about squeezing the shoulder blades together. So we're asking the upper back to do a little more work in supporting our weight here instead of the low back. Just a static hold, squeezing those shoulder blades towards your spine, remembering your breath. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down. Take a restful breath. So we have one more upper back and neck strengthener. So interlace your fingers at the base of your skull, top of your neck. And so from this lying down position on your mat, you're going to lift your head and press them into your fingers, but you're not using your fingers to press down into your head. We don't want to create stress on the neck, we want to create strength. So on an inhale, lift into your hands. Remember, we're not pushing down with the hands. It's just resistance for our head to lift into. For 3, 2, 1. Bring it all the way back down to the mat. Take a breath. Getting everything firing. Feels good. Bring some heat. We'll do that one again. So interlacing the fingers, base of the head, top of the neck. As you're ready, inhale, pressing the head into the hands. Remembering your breath. For 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down. Take a deep, restful breath into your back. Then we'll do a little bit of shoulder and chest opening. So taking the left arm out even with the shoulder. Option to keep the arms straight or bent. Your right hand comes underneath your right shoulder and use it to push you off the mat to roll backwards into that left shoulder. You can kickstand back with your right leg if that's comfortable. And the right hand is really what's controlling the intensity of the stretch here. So if you want more stretch, press into the mat to roll open a little bit more. You can also play around with the height of your left arm, sometimes a little bit higher than the shoulder, feels nice as well. Your body will let you know exactly where you need to be. One more deep breath here. And as you're ready, ever so slowly roll back onto the belly. Switch sides so the right arm will come out even with the shoulder. Left hand underneath the left shoulder, rolling back open. Maybe kickstanding with that left leg if that's comfortable. And then playing with the position of the right arm till you feel the perfect stretch. Sending your breath to your shoulder and your chest, inviting them to open and release, releasing any tension in your jaw, remembering your deep, slow, peaceful breathing. One more breath here. When you're ready, roll back onto your belly. We're going to push up into a tabletop position. Checking in with the hands again, so pointer fingers pointing straight to the front of the mat, wrists creased parallel. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, press back, find your downward facing dog. There can be a slight bend in the knees here. Contrary to popular belief, the most important thing is not cranking your heels down to the mat, but more so that you have a straight back and that your hips, the points of your hips, are the highest part of this pose. On an inhale, flow forward to your plank pose, pressing the mat away, inflating the space between your shoulder blades. Then a little shoulder challenge here. Come down to one forearm, then the other for a forearm plank. And then here, lift the hips again, find dolphin pose. We need to walk the feet forward for just a second. Still letting the hips be the highest point. Long, straight back. And then dropping the hips, letting the hands come a little further out in front of you for puppy pose to create space in the upper back. Just letting your heart melt into the mat, get really heavy. This is such a great one. As you're ready, slowly start to come back to your tabletop position. Remembering in any of these positions, pushing the mat away, inflating the space between the shoulder blades. We'll tuck the toes once again to find our down dog, but just for a moment. Then walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Find your forward fold. We'll be here for just a second, so you can have a slight bend in the knees. Still getting things warmed up in the lower body. Let your head be heavy. Let your weight be centered over your feet so you're not on your toes, you're not too far back. You're right in the middle. On your next inhale, slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time, pressing the mat away with your feet this time. Stacking that spine, coming to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment here just to check in, maybe with the back body where we've done so much work at the start of the practice. Noticing how it feels, maybe strong, maybe tired. Maybe the back just feels a little more alive than it normally does. Just taking note of whatever that is. On your next inhale, lift the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hinge at the hips. Find that forward fold once again. Lifting and spreading the toes, setting them back down on the mat, so you feel like you're really engaged in all corners of the feet. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Long, straight spine. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to your plank. Take an inhale at the top of plank. You guessed it, press the shoulder blades, inflate that space. Lower down chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale for a baby back bend, a cobra, maybe an up dog. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. And in down dog, it is probably really normal for you to feel like your elbows are looking at each other. Think about externally rotating your arms a little bit in your down dog. And see if you can turn on your upper back that way. It's almost like you're dropping that shoulder into the socket and really turning on all of that supporting musculature in your back when you do that. So from here, you're thinking about turning the insides of your elbows out, like they're looking away from each other. Turning on the low back, upper back, I mean. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. Exhale, contract the core, bring it forward to the space between the hands. Drop the right knee. Take a moment here. You can bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot if you'd like. Feeling the opening maybe in the front of the right hip. If the ground seems really far away here, you can always place your hands up on blocks if you have those available. So option to stay here, or you can kind of wiggle out that left foot a little bit further towards the outside of your mat. Come to the outside of the left foot. Splay your knee out. You can even bring a hand here if you'd like. For a little bit of a lizard pose. Just saying hello to those hips. Find wherever you need to be today. There is no wrong answer as long as it feels right in your body. If you feel really open, you can consider coming down onto your forearms here. Remembering your long, slow, peaceful breath. Remember to send your breath to the tight spots. Help encourage them to open and release and let go. And just being patient with your body. As you're ready, press your hands into the mat if they're not already there. Slowly start to roll up. Take a moment just back in this low lunge. And then make sure that your right hand is really firmly planted under your right shoulder. On your next inhale, lift the left arm up. Maybe open and back just a little bit. You can send the hips forward. Just a little baby back bend. A little bit of a counter pose, creating some space in the core, the hip flexors from the body. And as you're ready, bring that left hand back down to the mat. Readjust so that your hands can frame that left front foot. Tuck the right toes. You can option to bring the right knee up off the mat. Inhale, come up for a crescent lunge. Really thinking about squaring the hips to the front of the mat here. Evenly distributing your weight, making sure your knee is tracking over about your second toe and not in front of your ankle. Making sure your upper body feels centered over your legs. So you don't want to be all the way here with all of the weight on your front leg. You can even kind of rock back and forth until you find that perfect in-between place. Arms can come up overhead if you'd like, or cactus arms. Or if your upper back needs a little more awakening, you can pull down from arms up into cactus, slow and controlled, creating your own resistance. Then as you're ready, you're going to bring your hands down to frame that front foot. Take a big step forward with the right foot. Find your forward fold once again. Just release and be heavy here. If you want, you can grab opposite elbows. You can reach for your toes, whatever feels like the right choice for you. On your next inhale, press the feet into the mat strong, arms come out enough to stand. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Your hips are a hinge, your back is flat till the very end. Inhale, long straight spine again. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. You guessed it, press the mat away, inflate the space between the shoulder blades. Stay here for a breath. On your next exhale, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Checking in your down dog, seeing if one side feels a little different than the other now that we've done one side. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, contract the core to bring it forward to the space between the hands. Drop that left knee. Stay here for a moment, just letting the hips be heavy. Finding some opening in the front of the left hip on this side. Remember, you can use blocks if you need to. Checking in with your breath. Making sure you still have the long, deep, slow, peaceful breathing. Then from here, maybe think about moving into a little bit of a lizard. Maybe that right foot, heel, toes out to the right side of the mat. Maybe you come to the outside edge of that right foot. Maybe you push the knee out. And it's totally okay if this side feels different than the other side. We're just meeting our bodies where they are. Maybe you can come down onto the forearms, or maybe one forearm. Remember, we're looking for stretch, not pain. Respect your body. Checking in with your thoughts, seeing if they can stay present with your breath, with the felt sensations you're experiencing. As you're ready, slowly start to come back just to that low lunge position, kind of a neutral spot. Option if you'd like to lift the right arm, maybe open up and back a little bit. Even move the left arm over if you'd like for a little bit more of a wider base. Make for just a nice little back bend, counter pose. Making space in the body. And then bring both hands back to the mat. Frame that front foot. Option to lift that back knee up by tucking the toes. Strong and rooted in your feet. So you're pressing down through all four corners, using the feet, the front foot at least. Inhale to stand up for crescent. Same thing here, making sure that you're feeling centered in between your legs. You can do a little rock back and forth to find that place. If your front leg's burning up, then you probably are a little too far forward. Checking that your knees not going past your ankle, in line with the second toe. Arms can come up if you'd like. You can do some pull downs. Or from the front, you can pull this way. Really think about squeezing the shoulder blades together tightly. At the end of the movement, slow and controlled. This is really going to help your posture because we're strengthening those muscles in the upper back that help hold us up. And then we've done a little stretching of the front of the shoulders, of the chest, so that these tight muscles in the front won't be pulling our shoulders forward. So I'll have the openness in the front and the strength in the back to hold it there. One more breath wherever you are. Then bring the hands to frame that front foot. Big step forward to the left foot. Find your forward fold. Another chance to just relax, hang out here for a moment. Letting your head be heavy. And sway side to side a little if you'd like. As you're ready, press the feet into the mat to stand up. Inhale, arms come out and up with you. Exhale, they come together down through heart center. Last vinyasa here, just to press the reset button. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take a breath or two in your plank, inflating the space between the shoulder blades by pressing them out away. Belly button to the core, long straight spine. Next, exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment here, just do a quick check-in, see how things feel. Remember to bring the inside of your elbows away from each other. Bring that shoulder back into the joint so that you turn on the upper back. Then bring your knees down into tabletop, bring the feet to one side, come onto one hip. Legs out in front of you. So if you have really tight hamstrings or a really tight low back, it may be nice to elevate your hips here. So sitting up on a block or a bolster or just a folded up blanket, a pillow, whatever you have in your house. So this is going to be a little bit different than just our normal seated forward fold. We're going to do this in more of a yin style, and yin yoga is really focused on the fascia and the connective tissue a little bit more so than our muscles. And muscles may take about 30 seconds to release in a stretch, whereas fascia can take much longer. So this variation of a forward fold is really great if you've been sitting all day, if you have a desk job, or if you just have a lot of tightness in your low back. So our goal here is to not fold forward as far as we can. Our goal here is to just let our upper body be really heavy. Let our chin come down to our chest. So you're going to feel this lengthening that starts in the upper back, coming up the neck, maybe all the way down the back. So find whatever works for you. It's going to look a little bit different for everybody, a little bit silly, but that's okay. I like my arms to be just at the sides of my legs, palms face up. And you want this to be a little bit of a stretch, but you don't want this to be an intense stretch because we really are going to hang out here. So finding whatever feels like your Goldilocks place today and just settling in. Coming back to that long, slow, peaceful breathing. Checking in with the thoughts, see if they've wandered away. See if they've gone to judgment. Can you instead replace with gratitude? Can you say thank you to your body for supporting you, for being so strong, for keeping you out of trouble mostly? Maybe we've been here for a few seconds. You may feel the desire to go a little bit deeper, to let the head be even heavier. Listen to your body. A little bit of tug, a little bit of stretch is okay. We just don't want to strain the low back. So remember, this isn't a competition to get your nose to your knee. This is a different stretch
We're focusing less on the hamstrings and more on the back. So when you get it right, you'll feel it. This nice, long, connective tissue starts to loosen up a little bit. Fascia is one of those things that if you don't move it, it gets really sticky and hard and can make these big blocks that make mobility really challenging. So it's great. Fascia has gotten a lot more attention in the physical fitness and yoga world recently as folks have discovered how important it is to health and mobility and really a holistic perspective of the body. We're still going to hang out here. So if you feel the urge or the thought, man, I don't want to do this anymore, I wish I didn't have to do this, can you breathe through it? Instead of being taken away by that thought into a storyline, can you just notice that thought and let it go? Because eventually it will change. That thought won't be at the front of your mind for forever. So if you're patient, you can just wait it out with your presence and with your breath. Move ever so slowly, gingerly, gently start to emerge here. Really being kind to yourself as you come up very slowly. Maybe taking a breath when you get back to a neutral position. Maybe taking the hands back behind you, just shining the chest forward. A little bit of a counter pose here. As you're ready, release, come back to center. We'll do a little bit of a twist as well, just to encourage that mobility in the spine. A healthy spine moves 6 ways every day. Twisting, forward and back bending, and then side to side. So good yoga practice incorporates all 6 of those movements. So with your left leg out long, take your right foot to the outside of your left knee. Root down through both sit bones. Inhale, reach the arm up, get tall in the spine. Exhale, rotate to the left. The right arm can hook to the outside of that knee if you'd like. Maybe gazing over the left shoulder if that's comfortable. And remembering that twists originate from the low belly, so we're not just yanking our shoulders around, really twisting and stacking up from there. As you inhale, think about being pulled from the crown of your head by an invisible string that makes you taller and longer. And then as you exhale, you may find that that allows you to twist just a little bit deeper. Release any tension in the shoulders or the jaw. Any of those muscles that have signed up to help, but we don't need them right now. On your next exhale, gently unwind. Just do a small counter twist to the other side. Find your way back to center and we'll switch sides. So right leg comes along, left foot comes to the outside of the right leg, grounding down through those sit bones. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale, twist to the right. Same thing here. As you inhale, imagine getting taller through the spine. As you exhale, maybe you can twist just a little bit deeper. As you're ready, you can unwind. Take a just little gentle twist the other way. Just balancing everything out in the spine. And then, as you're ready, we're going to make our way to our back. So I suggest knees bent, arms out in front of you, lowering down as slowly as you can. Really using the core to control your weight here. How slow and controlled can you make this movement? And all the way down. We'll start with a reclined figure 4 here. So cross your left ankle over your right knee. Stay right here or reach the hands through and grab behind the right thigh. So you'll hear in this stretch a lot of time that you need to flex this left foot to protect your knee. Well, spoiler alert, there are no muscles that go over both of these joints in your body, so flexing your ankle in this case isn't really going to have an effect on your knee. What I would suggest is just experimenting with your right leg and finding what makes the best stretch for you. So it could just be passively like this. It could also be flexing the right foot, bringing that to a 90, which allows you to push this right knee closer to you. And by doing that, pulling this left ankle closer to you, which may accentuate the stretch in your glutes there. But you listen to your body and what feels good today. Still making sure you have a long, slow, peaceful breath, that your thoughts haven't wandered, that you're not getting self-critical or judgmental about how these poses should look or feel. By keeping these long, slow, peaceful breaths, we're really tricking our nervous system. Because when we're stressing our body by putting it in these big stretches or uncomfortable positions, our body's natural tendency would be to go into more of a sympathetic nervous response, that fight or flight. But if we can use our breath to trick the nervous system into staying in parasympathetic, rest and digest, we're going to get so much more benefit out of this stretch and just in our lives. So we've practiced that ability in a stressful situation to be able to remain calm and level-headed, even when our body thinks that we're under a significant amount of stress. So stay here if this is feeling super juicy and where you need to be. Otherwise, maybe experiment with keeping your legs exactly where they are and just letting the whole complex fall over to the right until the bottom of your left foot is on or near the floor. And you may feel this more into your glute medius, the front and side of your hip as opposed to your glute. It can be a really nice opener to an area that doesn't get stretched enough. Remembering your breath, especially when we feel really tight and a pose feels challenging. We don't need to constrict our breath. Long, slow, peaceful breathing. You could get just as much benefit from this practice if you didn't do any of the asana poses and just practice breathing in that way for an hour. As you're ready, come back towards center. Bring the bottoms of both feet to the ground, center the hips. Take just a breath in between to recalibrate. Maybe feeling into that left hip. See what's going on there, see if it feels any different. When you're ready, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Stay here or reach for the back of the left thigh. experimenting with flexing the left foot and bringing that leg to a 90. You can also maybe just really subtle, small movements side to side. You may find just a tiny variation in the stretch that feels really good. Coming back to your breath. Remembering that when the body feels stressed, all we have to do is breathe. Stay here if that's where you feel like you need to be, or keep your legs exactly as they are. Let them fall over to the left till that right foot is somewhere near the floor. Sending your breath into your right hip. Seeing if you can create space and expansiveness there. Checking in with your thoughts. In these long held poses, it's easier for the mind to wander. Can you bring it back to exactly what you're feeling right now? Long, slow, peaceful breaths. We can hold a lot of stored emotion in our hips, sometimes trauma or negative past experiences. So just be gentle with yourself, both physically and emotionally. If anything comes up for you when you're in these really long held poses, especially with the hips. As you're ready, bring those knees back up to center. Release the bottom of the right foot down to the floor. Take a breath here. We'll move into a little bridge pose. So pressing the feet into the mat to lift the hips, squeeze the glutes. Keep your head and neck really still. If you'd like, you can interlace the fingers underneath the low back, tucking one shoulder then the other underneath you. Keeping your knees in line, you don't want them to splay out, almost like you're squeezing a block between your legs. Deep breaths. As you're ready, slowly start to lower down. If it feels like there are any other postures that your body needs before Shavasana, the final resting pose, you maybe can take another twist. Maybe that looks like just bring the knees over to one side. Or maybe it would feel nice to just windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Or maybe a happy baby is what your body is calling for. Reaching the soles of the feet towards the ceiling, grabbing for the feet, ever so gently encouraging the knees towards the floor. Maybe it's a combination of all of those things. Honoring your body's requests. Taking another chance to find some gratitude Reason to be thankful for this body. If inversions are in your practice, now would be a nice time if you're feeling like you need to get upside down. Just any final last little movements. And then when you're ready for Shavasana, final resting pose, I recommend extending the right leg long, just a few inches above the ground, reaching as far as you can, and then setting it down. Same thing with the left, few inches off the ground. Reach, 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 almost like you're going to take it out of the socket, and then set it down. Totally relax the legs. Bring your arms up overhead. Snow angel them down to your sides. And then relax any remaining tension, any muscle in your body that's still holding on to something. Relax the tiny muscles around your eyes and the tiny muscles around your mouth. Relax your tongue. Let your shoulders be so heavy they melt into the mat. Release any focus on your breath. Release any effort. Relax and let your nervous system absorb the benefits of the practice. Gently start to bring your attention back to this space, back to your form. Maybe deepen your breath. Invite some gentle movement, wiggling the fingers and toes.
Maybe rolling the wrists and ankles. Or maybe taking a big good morning stretch overhead. Taking as much time as you need. We'll meet in a comfortable seated position, the same way we started class. It was so wonderful for you to allow me to teach you today. I'm so honored, and I hope that you enjoyed this practice. Please let me know what you'd like to see more of, and please check out some of my other videos to learn more about yoga and Ayurveda. Namaste.